filling in for Matt as the host for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes while he is on his way here. Adam Finer will join us eventually as well. And I also have the main man, Ryan Mason, in here. How you feeling today, Ryan?
Pretty good. I'm happy. Second half is going to be interesting because I'm the one that usually doesn't watch NBA the most, so I'm the one outsider. I mean, I might have another Brooklyn Nets thing going on this year. I don't know yet.
Okay. But yeah, he just gave us a little segue why I am excited, because today in our second hour, we are doing our second annual C4 Sports NBA preview. That's our little round of applause noise, right there. That's our round of applause noise. But before we get into that, we're gonna get into we might as well throw our Twitters out there. I forgot all about that. I am you can tweet at me at @the_Hawk_13.
And you can follow me at Mason_ILChief.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and do what we always do to start the show, and that is go ahead and discuss Western Illinois football. Last week, Western, they almost got it done. Played number 9, Illinois State, and they were winning most of the game, but suffered a close loss, 37-34. And that loss featured an abysmal 24 points given up in the fourth quarter by Western. And this has actually been a common theme. We were discussing this right before we came on the air, Ryan, that this has been a common theme that Western, so far, and I believe 2 or 3 of their losses this year, they've had the lead going into the second half, and either in the third or fourth quarter, they just give it up. So what do you really think is the reason for that?
I don't know. I just saw the scores through this weekend. I saw that they were up big at half. I thought it was going to be an easy win, and the next thing I know, I checked scores later. I was out and about, and they lost. So, I don't know. The fourth quarter is always tricky, I think, when you have the lead, because you're trying to think, hey, we have this win pretty sure, and especially giving up 24 points, they had to think that they were really going to win. You can't take a step back,
So it's
especially
more,
to a ranked team.
right,
I mean,
right.
that's how things go. Is that who's going to predict that you're going to have three and outs through that whole fourth quarter, and they have big plays and they come back and win? You just can't think that you have the win after the third quarter, because it showed there that it does not work.
Yeah, so it's more of a playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah.
Which is definitely
I mean,
a
just
game plan for failure, right?
Yeah, and they probably could have won if they got maybe a couple more first downs. And that's the big difference of winning and losing in that game. By the scoreline and everything, it was just getting a couple first downs, adding more time for your possessions and less time for them to have the ball, and would have walked out with another second straight win against a ranked opponent. So, yeah, it's just crazy. I think they learned. I'm hoping they learned that you just can't rest.
Yeah, because I believe exactly that's how they lost the game to Southern. And also, we know when they played Wisconsin, they were close in that game, and then they just gave it away. But speaking of how, Western won 2 weeks ago against a ranked opponent, Trenton Norvell had a tremendous game that game. And he actually followed up with a pretty decent game. He had 21 completions, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. J.C. Baker also ran well, 111 yards for a touchdown on an average of 4.3 yards per carry. Lance Lenoir, the star wide receiver here, I keep saying that. I feel like he's putting up the big numbers. Had 12 catches for 195 yards, and he also caught both of Norvell's touchdowns. So you said you hope Western learns. I believe that they actually did, because they were close in this one. Like you said, Illinois State was undefeated coming into this game. Obviously, they're still undefeated now. But this week, Western takes on another ranked opponent, number 23, Northern Iowa. And Northern Iowa, even though they are ranked, their record is not good at all. They are 3-4 overall and 1-2 in conference play. And looking at who they've beat so far, they beat Northern Colorado, they beat Tennessee Tech, and they beat South Dakota. So really, they haven't really beat too many teams either. I feel like they were probably ranked higher when the season started, and through their record, they're probably falling through the polls. So what do you think Western can do this week versus Northern Iowa?
Against Northern, I'm expecting probably about the same game that was last week, but I want to see them stay throughout. Maybe not jump out to a big lead. save some of those points. I mean, you always say in baseball, especially with me, especially when it comes to playoffs, you win 10-2. I'm like, yeah, you could save some of those runs for that next game. Just pace it out. But you can't help if you run up the score. But just, I guess, just keep the foot on the throat.
Okay.
Don't hesitate, because it looks like they're doing everything right.
Absolutely.
Baker's getting his runs. Norvell's passing it.
Yeah, it's been that balance that we've
It's
been
been
talking
that
about.
balance, but it's just, I guess the defense just needs. I guess we can talk about the defense.
Yeah.
Is just keep on going at it. You know, it might be rough, and you're going like, oh, because I don't want to injure myself, or I don't want to play that hard because we got the win. But you can't do that, especially with a ranked team in Northern Iowa, even though their record doesn't show a ranked team.
Right.
I just want to see a solid performance throughout, especially after last week. I think they will really bounce back. I'm gonna say, I said that they were gonna win last week.
Mm-hmm.
I said that, and I was looking good. I was going like, yes, I can throw it into the face of my fellow C4 Sports. But you know, I think it's gonna be a very close game. I'm gonna say 3-point victory for Western. Northern just doesn't have that record to prove why they're ranked. So last week, I think that it showed that Western can do it, and I think they will for sure this week.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know, it's not too often I actually pick Western to win a game, but I believe they will win this one. Like you said, Northern Iowa, their record is not good at all, a record that you would expect for having or being a ranked team. And Western already this year has beat a ranked team, and then against the other ones they played, for the most part, have actually remained pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those teams were actually undefeated football teams. With Northern Iowa, who even with a win this week would probably still fall out of the rankings, I would believe. I think that just the way, based off who they played, it just hasn't really been too good of a production for them. I believe Western will get it done. They've had that balance that we've been talking about forever these last 2 to 3 weeks. The offensive balance has been there. So, I mean, you really said it all. It's about what the defense is going to do. Can the defense contain, especially during the second half? Because, like you said, Western comes out, it's like they smack them in the mouth in the first half. I don't know if these teams that they're playing are thinking about old Western, maybe teams that were getting blown out, you know, the past few years. And maybe now Western is starting to get better under Coach Nielsen, and is surprising these teams, and maybe they have to adjust in the second half. But I'm looking for the defense to step up this week. We talked about the offense. The offense finally got it together. They've been on a nice roll. So now it's the defense time to do what they have to do. So, yeah, actually we have both of us in here actually picking Western to win.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like when Matt gets here, we'll just ask him, what does he feel? Whatever. Yeah. But going from college football, we're going to go ahead and talk about the professional football.
Yeah.
And before we get into picking the games and everything, I know one thing you wanted to discuss, Ryan, was the Seattle Seahawks. What's going on with them? Last week, Percy Harvin was traded basically right before we got on the air, and none of us had the information of really what was happening, so we kind of just guessed, chemistry issues. Yeah. And it turned out not only was it chemistry issues, but as you said earlier before we got on here, the locker room seems to be split a little bit on how they feel about Russell Wilson. So, I mean, what do you have to say about that?
It's why they're saying the reason why there's a split. I do not get that at all. I don't know if you're black enough, why that matters in a locker room or on the not even the locker room, on the playing field. If you play, you can play. Right. And Russell Wilson proves that he can play. This year has been a little bit of struggle. Maybe that chemistry in the locker room is the reason why. Because it seems like some of their defensive players are going against Russell Wilson, and it's going to be interesting how the season ends and how that chemistry works, because Russell Wilson's going to fit to get paid this offseason, and that could bring a whole other factor of a split locker room. Maybe Percy Harvin he might have been the problem by saying that he got in altercations with big-time players, but you know what? There was teammates that were upset that he left, that he was traded. Maybe Percy's going, maybe not to the right place with the Jets, because the Jets are horrible, but maybe he's just getting out of that locker room at a right time, because it could just all implode.
Yeah, to provide a little bit of backstory to those who do not know, there was an article that came out this week I forgot who wrote it. I was trying to look that up, but internet in here was not letting me do that. Wouldn't let me flourish. But there was an article that came out this week that some people in the locker room kind of said that Russell Wilson wasn't necessarily, they feel like he wasn't black enough. Which is, and the comparison they made was kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles around that time when they had T.O. and Donovan McNabb, and how that team started to split, and people started siding with T.O., and people started saying that McNabb wasn't necessarily acting black enough, or whatever you may call it. And the thing is, I think with Wilson, it's not necessarily, because his tendencies may not be black, but I think the thing that a lot of people are looking at is that how close he is to the management. And that's really how McNabb was. He had a nice connection with the ownership and the coaching staff, maybe more so than some players in the locker room. And usually as football players, or I would guess athletes in general, especially, and you see this during lockout periods, there's usually players and then this ownership, front office, and maybe coaches are sometimes in the middle. So I guess as Wilson has a nice relationship with the management, which to this point he should. I mean, he shouldn't have any problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, every quarterback has a great relationship with the ownership because you're the face of the franchise.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Brady. Even gonna keep in the same race. Look at RG3.
Right.
Him and Dan Snyder, close as can be,
exactly.
And he's the reason why Shanahan got fired.
Exactly. I was just about to bring that up. Exactly.
So I mean, we're just not saying it's the big time people.
Yeah.
Every quarterback has that. I don't say every quarterback in every organization.
For the most part, yeah.
But yeah, that's a prime example right there. Dan Snyder and RG3, and RG3 should be the reason why RG3 is the reason why he got fired, but because of Dan Snyder, because you have that close, and I think that's where sometimes you don't have. That's why where I work, we can't hang out with management outside of work. There's a reason why.
Right.
It's a conflict of interest.
Exactly.
And maybe we're starting to see that now prevailing in the NFL a little bit. Not too much, but you hear it from other people. They were bringing it up with Dallas last year when they were hosting, was it the NCAA tournament? Or they were hosting, I think it was the NCAA tournament. They were hosting, and you had Jerry Jones with Witten and I think Romo up in his press box, his luxurious owner's box, and they were bringing up on I think NFL Network was like, hey, are there other team members there? Was everybody invited, or was it just a certain few that were invited? That little conflict can make it a big conflict when it comes on in the locker room and chemistry. So I think we're starting to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, and by the way, it was Mike Freeman from Bleacher Report who wrote that article. But yeah, I agree with you that it definitely can be a conflict of interest. But the crazy thing to me is that despite Seattle's necessarily some part of their failures this year, Russell Wilson has played very well. And to me,
because he's had to step up for his defense.
Yeah, and to me, he's played better this year than he did last year. So his game is definitely improving. And so with that comparison to McNabb, I feel like McNabb, especially in big games, you saw when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, it was almost like he lost his way, like he couldn't perform. But Wilson has proven that in big games he plays better, even than usual.
If it wasn't for him against St. Louis, it would have been 10-point loss.
Yeah,
minimum. So.
And speaking of St. Louis, do you feel like this trade may had something to do with them taking the L last week, or do you feel like St. Louis just came out better prepared, or?
I think they wanted to beat up on the defending champs. It's a division game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there, at home, and I think they were just tired of hearing how they probably heard all week. Rams defense is horrible. Everybody's picking Seattle, and I think they had a little bit of chip on the shoulder. But their special team is the team that won. Won it for them. It wasn't the offense. Defense helped a little bit, but it was their special teams that faked them out. So, yeah, I think Rams came in better prepared. I think the trade probably did have a little bit of effect, even though it was a week. There was, I guess they had 2 days to prepare without Percy, and you don't have that explosive player, so that kind of hurts.
Yeah. And joining us now officially is Matt Langman. who, when we go back to break, will go back to hosting. I'm just telling him that on the air because I like him doing his job
All right,
better than I do.
Put this away
But
then.
yeah.
I don't know why I'm getting my stuff
He
out.
looks
Yeah.
kind of nice right now in studio.
With his
with
purple
the
polo on, trying to be
and-
all professional.
Hey, they hold us to a high standard for when we do soccer games. And by the way, the women won, finally 3-2. They got the help because Oral Roberts scored on themselves. They had an own goal, but hey, a win is a win.
Exactly. I mean, you can't be upset at that. You
Yeah.
Still take the W's any way you can get them.
Yeah, I'm not complaining right now.
Exactly. Do you have any statements or comments to make about this whole Russell Wilson, the locker room may be torn against him?
I don't think so. I haven't seen too much about it, but I would say I think he still has control over the locker room. He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'd still say they're probably the best team in football. I just think they need to get their stuff together right now. They have to kind of find their identity again. I think the trades and kind of the turmoil that has happened to them this season has really affected them. The defense isn't as stout as we saw last year. I think they've had some injuries, which has really hurt them. In the offense, I mean, it's finally being exposed. What we said last year, especially before that Super Bowl show, why the three of us picked against them, was we didn't think they had the offense to win it. And now
Hold on. What was
The three of us. He was including Adam.
Well, Adam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Adam.
he was including.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
I
know.
mean,
We
Yeah.
know.
Three of us
Well, that's
on
why I
the
looked at. Well, they can't see, but I was looking at
Exactly.
Ryan
I'm
when I
gonna say
said
three
that.
of us on the mic right now. Adam is not here, and when you say us, it
Okay.
gives off
All
the
right, yeah,
statement that
okay.
all of us were wrong, but Darius just happened to be right in the blowout Super Bowl. But minor details, though. I mean, that doesn't
But
happen.
now we're seeing the team that we thought they were last year, especially offensively. I think Marshawn Lynch has had a good season, and Russell Wilson's played decent, but they're just not putting up the points that they need to, and they were able to get away with it last year because the defense was so good they didn't need to score more than like 17 points half the time. That now the offensive woes are really starting to hurt them, and we just expected so much from their defense. I think it was a little unrealistic to expect the defense to be as good this year as they were last
Do you
year.
think it was all the recognition they've been getting this all?
I think so, yeah. I think you could say that.
I think I was hearing throughout the week that, I mean, you had Sherman was given a big contract, they're getting endorsements everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're finally getting close, like, all right, it was just all about football. Now it's about football and having a career and doing advertisements. So that gets in the way. So
It does.
Yeah,
to an
I'm
extent.
kind of glad you said that. I don't even know if it's the endorsements or stuff like that, like they're being distracted. It's what we saw from the Pacers. All we heard after taking the Heat to 7 games in the conference finals in 2013, then that whole offseason was, oh, we get no respect. We're better than Miami, blah, blah, blah. Then they finally get first place. We're the Seahawks. We get no respect, blah, blah, blah. They win the Super Bowl in this case, but the Pacers, they got first place. They were getting all the hype. Everybody was riding the Pacers. Then they collapse. They have that mental breakdown. They just collapse. I'm not going to say it's the same exact thing that Seattle's going through right now, but I think it's a little similar now. Everybody's like, Seattle, oh, they're so good. They're winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to lose a game. And I think it's almost unrealistic expectations that have been
I'm
put
not
on
gonna
them.
say it's a collapse or anything like that. I'm gonna say that they're the champion, and that's everybody's schedule. Who every team that has Seattle on their schedule, that's their big game of the year.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, that's their biggest game. So no matter if you are 0-16 or if you are 16-0, when you see Seattle, that game you're gonna throw out everything you possibly can.
Yeah.
So I think Seattle right now they're just taking the best shot from everybody.
Yeah, there's a reason that nobody's repeated in 10 years now.
So they're just struggling from that. I feel like just taking everybody's best shot, and then when you have on top of that in-house trouble, it starts to crumble a little bit. But I think they're gonna end up being all right still.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick against them too much.
I'm looking forward to their. I'm bringing up their schedule right now, and see this week. I mean, we'll go over picks here in a little bit. I might be a little bit crazy, but I guess the next game I'm looking forward to. I mean, they're really back heavy with division games. I guess I'm waiting for Sunday, November 23rd, when they play at home against Arizona, because right now they have Carolina, Oakland, Giants, Kansas City. They could lose to at Kansas City, but that home game against Arizona is going to probably show what team they are, because Arizona's real hot right now. They will be home, and if they lose that game, then I'm thinking, you know what? They're not going to get. To me, they're not going to get home field right now, unless they pull something out.
They need home field.
They need home field.
Yeah.
So, a lot of us predicted a rematch of the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I see the
yeah.
one side. I see Denver
Yeah.
going now, but Seattle, no. If they have to play one road game, they're done.
I don't know. I think they can win on the road. I don't know about all that. They're not New Orleans bad on the road, so I'm not gonna say that. But I don't think they're going to get to the Super Bowl at this point, no matter what happens, because they traded a big-time offensive weapon. So the NFC, as far as winning, is open. To
And I think
everybody.
Harvin helped Marshawn Lynch, because if you run Harvin over to maybe give him a run, and they faked it and go to Lynch, and he would get his big yards. I mean, Harvin helped a lot of places.
Yeah, just him being out there is just a threat on the stuff that you have to watch out for. So
Because
they
you
can
have to have
still-
that one defensive player cover him the whole time,
Yeah.
and that leaves you to do whatever you want.
So they can still maybe possibly get in the playoffs, but I'm kind of saying that because somebody in there is going to have to fall off. Because if Arizona eventually is going to have to slow down some, I don't think they're going to keep playing like that. Because, I mean, a wild card's not coming out of that division. Well, 2 wild cards aren't. Because you look at Dallas and Philly, both of them only
Well,
have
I
one
mean-
loss at this point. So it looks like right now only one wild card is going to come out the West.
And only one team's going to come out of the NFC South.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
one
n-
team
none
out
of-
of
none
the
of them wanna win.
one team
Yeah.
out of the North, maybe 2. It depends on if
No, I think
Detroit,
it's only gonna be one team.
if
out of the
Detroit
North.
wants to
No.
keep it up, I guess could happen.
Wild card is probably going to end up being either the 4. So it's going to be somebody in the West. Them 3 teams are going to have to figure that out, and then it's going to be either Dallas or Philly.
I could see. I'll have to look at my sheet. I don't think I had San Francisco, and
I didn't either.
so
Neither did I.
We could see that they drop off, and then Jim Harbaugh goes up to good old Michigan off in the offseason.
All I know is
so.
the NFC South. None of them teams should get in. All of them suck.
No.
None of them want to win it.
Yeah, 3-3-1 is winning the record, and
Yeah.
so hey, maybe Tampa can come back and make me a little bit happier.
Yeah, good
Win
luck
the
with that. Good luck with
Oh,
that.
No, I'm just-
Yeah, okay, and that's moving up too far. All right, let's go ahead and get to these NFL picks.
Yeah,
I'm coming in cold here. This is going to be interesting. I'm going last on every single one.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Do
I
we
am.
want-
I have
No, you're
nothing
not.
in front
Do
of
we
me.
want
I'm going
to?
last.
Do we want to take a break real quick?
No, we
Yes,
don't.
please,
no,
take a
no, we
break.
don't. No, we don't. This is fun this way. No,
I'm going last.
no, you're
Yep.
not.
Otherwise, I'm not giving my picks on the air unless I go last.
This is not how that's supposed to work.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm gonna
You
have
do
a
not call
lockout.
the shots
I get to
when
have a
Darius is sitting at
lockout.
the head mic. Okay, that's not how we doing this. All right.
Well, then I'm looking off Ryan's screen.
You can go last on some of them.
Yeah.
The tough games, I'm just gonna give you a look like this, and that means you go before me. That's what that means.
Okay,
won't
so
look at you.
since we talked about, let's see, let's start with the game that everybody on campus is going to be worried about, and it's Chicago Bears at New England Patriots. New England Patriots are favored by 6. I'm just going to say Patriots are going to win big.
Yeah, I have Patriots as well. I don't need to go last for this one. I think the Patriots win this one pretty easily. Because the Bears just, wow. I got over everything. We've done this every week. I'm over my hate, and I picked you to win the NFC North and make it to the NFC Championship game, and yeah.
We were talking about this
Yeah.
before. You said last week that they give a pass on Cutler way too much. Never really noticed that until after this game against Miami, and it was all about let's fire Trestman right now.
Yep.
And giving a pass
told
to
you.
Cutler. And
I told you. I've
Yep.
seen this being a Packers fan in Chicago, so you could say an unbiased opinion on the Bears, especially now that I have gotten over all my harsh feelings, really towards their fans, not even towards the team, towards the fans. I'm telling you, since he's got here, it's been no results and all excuses. Oh, it's the thank you, Ryan. It's the defense, it's the system, it's the coach. You know, it's the no O-line. That's all it's been for Jay Cutler because he has put up decent numbers. But that's all you hear when it comes to Jay Cutler in Chicago. It's not his fault. It's never his fault. I've actually started to read some articles this season because going into this season, especially among my friends and family who are all Bears fans, they kind of said this was it. But now I'm starting to get the feeling, well, Jay Cutler has good numbers. The defense was bad. It probably won't end up being this way. But this was it for Cutler. This was supposed to be the year, make or break. No matter how good the numbers he put up, they're not going to make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. So, and in the end, the Cutler's going to get off the hook yet again. I'm going to have to argue with my brother especially, as well as my buddy Nick and a ton of other people who are huge Jay Cutler fans and believe in him. That's all I got to say. Bears are not winning a Super Bowl with Jay Cutler as their quarterback. I don't care what you put around him. He has the best receiving core in the NFL, and he still finds, this is what I say, it always for me comes back to him and Rodgers. 2 things. Rodgers does more with less. He makes those teammates look a lot better than they really are. And Cutler does less with more. And also, Rodgers finds way to win games. We saw it against the Dolphins. Cutler finds way to lose games. That's what it is to me. Cutler has no results in his whole time at the Bears. No, they're not going to get rid of him. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take Pats by 21.
Wow, I was gonna go about by 10.
No, I don't have much confidence in Chicago right now,
Wow,
especially if the
21.
defense is not getting turnovers, which they have not done really since the third or fourth week. I have just no confidence in Chicago.
Well, with all that being said, I have New England. I don't have to add analysis. You did that for all of us.
Well, I know all my friends and family who do listen are all Bears fans, and I have to tell them how it is.
Oh, well, I'll add on to that.
Jay Cutler
Y'all
is
suck.
bad. Cutler is bad. It's
Y'all
that.
suck,
There's nothing
and
around
please, once again, make sure y'all tell him to throw all the picks possible on December 4th. That's a big day for me.
Okay, so next thing we'll talk about is, I think it's going to be a big game. Green Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans at home. They're favored by 1.5. Don't buy just because they're at home. Just at home. The only reason why they're favored by 1.5. Drew Brees just does not look like the Brees of old. I think I just don't know what it is with the offense. He's making errors that I haven't seen him make too much of, and it's tough. It's difficult to see. I mean, because we have a lot thought easy playoff could be in the NFC Championship. I think. A lot of people could say that they could end up there, but I just don't see it. Even though if they're at home, I have Green Bay winning. I'm going to say they win by double digits. Unless good old Drew Brees wants to show up, I don't know. I haven't seen stats of who he's throwing to, who has top receiving yards of the team, but I think he's trying to get it to Graham too much, and then he needs to find other receivers. Because I have Colson on my fantasy team, and he doesn't get hardly anything. He got a little bit last week because he scored a touchdown, but besides that, he's not getting anything, and he's one of his top receivers. So, what do you guys think, Matt? You go next.
I have the Packers in this one too, just because I just don't see it for the Saints this year. I think what flaws Drew Brees has been able to cover up in his great career that he's had, I think, are kind of being exposed now. I'm a little surprised it's taken so long because I've never been a big believer in Drew Brees. He's been an elite quarterback, top 3, top 4, his whole kind of career since he got to New Orleans. But, yeah, I just think his size and some of his footwork is not always perfect, especially when he's going to be flushed out of the pocket. That's kind of been exposed a little bit this year, and I just think the team is pretty weak around him. They don't have the right team to play Sean Payton, Naperville stand up, by the way, his type of play style that he's always tried to play. And that's why I think I got the Packers. They're rolling right now. Aaron Rodgers is the best player in the NFL. I think that's kind of plain and simple. So I think with the Packers defense being opportunistic the way they have been recently, I got the Packers by 3 points.
I definitely have the Packers as well. And I just want to say Drew Brees and his fellow Saints are ugly for the way they lost to Detroit last week.
Yeah, I don't know how they gave up that, and I thought it was like, hey, a win, maybe this turns them around and they could win the South, but they just collapsed. So, before we go to the next game, since he's not here, Adam Feiner did pick the Saints to win. So if you guys want to make fun of him when he gets in,
right.
he did send me the picks, and he has that, and when I saw that, I just shook my head, going like,
I know it made you upset.
It did make me upset. It did make me upset.
Okay.
He probably secretly picked the Giants to beat the Cardinals too in baseball. So next game we were talking about them earlier. Seattle versus Carolina. Any chance Carolina wins? I have them winning. I have Carolina winning. Carolina's at home. I just have that feeling that Carolina looked good against Chicago, even though Chicago's not in the same ballpark as Seattle. But I just have that feeling that Cam Newton's going to get it together a little bit. I think Jonathan Stewart was back last week. I think him being back more this week is going to help maybe with a running game. So I'm going to say it's going to be close. I say they win by 3.
Is there a chance Carolina will win? Yes, because they're going to be in the stadium playing. Will they win? No, because they just simply are not good. And also, you talking about they beat the Bears. Yeah, like you said, Bears not good. But they also tied with Cincinnati. And like I said, after that, I don't want to watch any more Carolina Panthers football.
Yeah, I'm going Seahawks in this one, too. I think they win by about 10 points. over Carolina. I think it's kind of an easy 10-point win for Seattle.
And also, Seattle really can't afford to lose this game. They lose this one, and it's some real problems. 'Cause, I mean, the teams they've lost to, San Diego, okay, at one point, had a pretty decent record. Now they look like they're falling off a little bit. Dallas, haha, we know we the big dogs. And St. Louis is in the division, so divisional losses always make sense to me, especially being in the NFC East. But Carolina, that just doesn't really make any sense. They don't really have the offensive weapons to be able to beat that defense. So if somebody lose that game, that's a problem.
Okay, couple more games. Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati Bengals. The first game of the year. Cincinnati just looked pretty darn good against them. I think it was probably a little bit hangover of Ray Rice. But Baltimore since then is 4-1. Well, 5-1.
Yeah.
5-1. And I have Baltimore winning. Like you said, after that tie, you're like, how did you let that happen, especially at home with all the opportunities you had? And I think they're figuring out I think defenses are figuring out how to beat Cincinnati. Bernard, their good running back, has not done too well this last couple weeks, and A.J. Green has been injured. I think he's going to be playing this week. I don't know yet, but I swear
he's supposed to be playing.
He's
I have him on
to
my fantasy team. It says he's supposed to be playing.
So he'll be back. So maybe that helps out. But I still have Baltimore winning, and Baltimore's a 1.5 point favorite. I'm going to give it 7. They're going to win by a touchdown.
I'm probably going to go with Baltimore in this one as well.
Okay.
Just because I don't believe in Cincinnati too much right now, especially with a banged-up A.J. Green out there.
And just so you know, he's doubtful to play.
Yeah, I know. He's listed as questionable, but I was reading up on him for fantasy.
Adam Schefter put him as doubtful. That's worse than questionable.
Well, I was going off what ESPN's little fantasy report told me.
Well, okay. Either way, I just want to, shout out Ryan because when we, at the beginning of the season, we talked about this division, and I picked the Bengals to win it. You said Baltimore, and I was like, there's no way in the world they're going to win that division. I don't know how you knew they were going to play this good because they are surprising the heck out of me.
Flacco can throw the long ball now.
Yeah, I don't know how they are playing this well, but Baltimore, I got them winning this game. As far as like this year, besides my own team, that's a surprise team of the year to me because I did not think they were going to be this good.
And they've kind of gone under the radar as well. You don't hear much about them.
I think them and Arizona. Arizona was good last year, but to keep it up again, especially where they're at, probably the top 2 surprising teams so far. In honor of what Darius is wearing in studio right now, we have the
fan.
Man.
We have the Eagles versus Arizona Cardinals.
First of all, let's clear this up. See, this is the problem when we don't have cameras in here. Because then we just be sending these bad messages. I have on a Reggie White jersey that I got from when I went to the football. I almost said pro hoodball. The Pro Football Hall of Fame with my dad and brother. And this is the jersey that I got. Okay, so that's what I have on. Let's just clear that up.
Why did you get an Eagles one, though?
Well, because when I got it, first of all, it's stitched. Okay, all the other ones were screen printed.
Okay,
right, and I like some stitched stuff in there, and I needed something, just to add on. See, when you out here in these streets, okay, and out here operating with these people, you can't just have one team's jersey, as you know. Okay?
I do know that.
Your closet is deep.
Yeah.
Which is why you about to give me a few of them after this. What? Okay.
We'll see about that. We'll see about
that. We're supposed to be talking about who was going to win between Eagles and Cardinals.
Okay.
I have Cardinals winning. I've liked what they did, what they've done this year. Even with Carson Palmer out, they found a way to win. Palmer's back, and then guess what? Fitzgerald and Floyd's actually getting touchdowns. So it took a passing quarterback to finally come back and elevate them even more. And I don't know what's the line of it. Line is that Arizona's only favored by 1.5. I just don't give a chance for Eagles. They've skated by. They almost lost to St. Louis. Got lucky here and there. So if it wasn't for their special teams and defense, they would probably be a 500 team. So I have Cardinals winning, and I'll say they win. It's going to be close. I'll say by a field goal.
Yeah, me strictly being a Cowboys fan and seeing how we have the same record as Philly, I got to go with Arizona. eventually Philly has to lose to somebody, and then of course, when we get to our game, we already know that my squad is going to win. So that means it's time for us to go 7-1, and they can go 6-2 or whatever.
Well, I'm going also with Arizona. I just think their defense is much better than Philly's is at this point in time, and we still haven't seen really a consistent LaShawn McCoy back there for the entire season. So until he starts to put up some consecutive big game numbers, I really don't know if that offense can pull it off every single time. Like you guys kind of said, they got lucky a few times. You could definitely make that case. So I like the consistency of the Cardinals, so that's why I'm going to roll with them.
I guess we can talk about Monday Night Football game, I guess, a little bit. Washington Redskins at Dallas Cowboys. Good old primetime player Colt McCoy will be the quarterback of the Redskins. Because, like,
prime time.
That's a little surprising.
Prime time what?
Well, we saw Brady Quinn.
First of all, I didn't even know he was on the team.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we saw Brady Quinn was a color commentator now.
Yeah.
Found that out the other day. Didn't know
And
that
then
had
Colt
happened.
McCoy was still in the NFL.
Yeah, I
which
didn't
had
know
no
that.
idea.
I thought he was going down the same path as
Prime.
Brady Quinn.
That's not,
You know I'm joking saying that, right?
That's not the point. That's
the
not
point.
Let's not give him a nickname that represents what Darius is to the people. That's not,
Wait,
no,
but-
no, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't do it. I knew
All
this
right.
was coming.
All right.
No, don't do that. He tried to create another nickname. Now, see, this is
You're
it's
just
even
going to have
worse
to
than
sit
last
on
week.
it. You're going to just have to sit on it.
That's fine.
Wait, you have another name?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Lot
People
better.
are calling him, not just me.
Yeah.
Other
First of all,
people
no,
are
they're
calling
not.
him
Okay,
that.
we will discuss this when we go to break, because this is not going to be discussed on air. They're not calling me that. First of all, you saw my roommate in the elevator, and you told him to yell that when he came in the room, and that's what he did.
Other people are saying it.
No, that's all.
And now we're going to spread it. It starts with 2. And then it's gonna go out.
No, we're not spreading it, okay? We are not. We're going to kill that like how they trying to kill Ebola. That's what we're doing. We are not spreading that. All right, now, about this game. Let's get back on topic, Matt.
I didn't
All
do
right.
anything. You
Yes,
started
did.
it.
Yes, you
I
did.
started it by just saying primetime, I guess.
No, Matt started it because he's always the one who does this. Dallas Cowboys. Like you said, Colt McCoy is who we're playing against. Ha. They don't have a defense. Brian Orakpo is hurt again, out for the year. They can't do nothing with us. I mean, 7 in a row. And we're on primetime television. This is about to be 7 in a row. 7 wins in a row. You know that feels nice. You know 7 is a good number. You know that's the number of completion. You know that's a good number. 7.
Number of what?
Number of completion. I heard that
Oh,
somewhere.
I don't know what that means.
That's okay.
Me
Just,
neither.
just know that 7 wins in a row.
Okay.
He's just throwing words out.
No, it is the number
Or
of
just-
completion. Okay, but I'm not about to explain all that right now
Okay.
because I don't remember the full explanation. That's why I can't explain. But it's 7 in a row, and I mean after this week we're only going to be competing with Denver, I believe, who was the only team with 1 loss,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah. Okay. So it's going to be us.
I really
and
hope the
Denver.
Cowboys keep winning because Darius is pretty entertaining, especially on Twitter when the Cowboys do win.
Yeah.
It's
It
Pretty
is
funny.
kinda entertaining.
It's pretty funny.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Because
know-
you get a little bit more tweets. When they're losing, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to go watch Open
Godfather.
Court or whatever. Open Court
Yeah.
or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah, you see. Yeah,
Or Looney
Godfather,
Tunes.
yeah. First of all, let's not talk about Looney Tunes. Okay, I'll be in class. Still got the DVD though, which I'm just gonna encourage everybody out there. You want to buy a birthday gift? You get somebody the 50th anniversary DVD. That's what I got for my 22nd birthday.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and that might seem a little childish to y'all, but if y'all got a problem with it, come find me.
Well, for me, I'm going with the Cowboys just because, I mean, Colt McCoy is the quarterback. I don't really need to say anything else other than that.
So, yeah. So, that's all I have for games. Every other ones are just
Why don't we just
not
run
worth-
through them real quick and
Run
say
through
who
'em,
you
so
got.
since
Say
you
say
can-
who you got. Yeah, I
You
still
can
need
do
to
your
do them.
picks?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going last.
Okay, we did that one. Okay, Miami at Jacksonville. Everybody,
Okay,
Miami.
Okay, I can do that one.
C4 concurrence on that one.
Boom.
Um,
Oh,
yep.
I don't have my laptop up ready. I would have
Yeah.
an explosion ready.
St. Louis Rams at Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh.
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
Because we did our picks already.
Yeah.
So
I don't have anything in front of me. This is not fair.
What does that mean?
I'm going
It's called
with
the eye test.
what?
Who's better?
Who the Chiefs beat last week? Or did they lose?
They beat San Diego
Okay.
on a last second
Going
field
with the
goal.
Chiefs.
Good job.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yep.
another C4 concurrence.
Boom.
Got him.
All right, Buffalo Bills at New York Jets. I have the Jets winning just because they have to get a win somewhere. I think Percy Harvin helps out,
Yeah.
and they get a win. And Buffalo started off good, and they're declining. Who do you have, Darius?
I have the Buffalo Bills. Why? I don't really know. When I looked at this game, I think I was doing something else when I sent you these picks. I forgot that Percy Harvin was even on the team. But I'm not going to change my pick because we had this discussion last week. You said I changed my pick too many times, even though it was only twice. So we're not going to make it the third time. So we're going to stick with Buffalo.
I think I'm going with Buffalo as well just because I do not trust the Jets whatsoever right now. As long as Geno Smith is their quarterback, I don't know if I'll necessarily pick them for very many games this season.
Okay. Houston Texans at Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is going to have a new quarterback this week. Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah, I saw that.
From
LSU.
Louisiana. LSU. Why,
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Louisiana. It's because it's LSU.
Same thing.
So, you got Texans winning?
Yeah.
Big time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, who are they playing?
Titans.
Oh,
Titans,
yeah. Okay.
Minnesota at Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay winning.
I'm going with Tampa Bay as well.
How about you, Darius?
Minnesota.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
you
go.
have Minnesota.
Bridgewater.
Adam does also.
Bridgewater.
To me, he still has to prove himself.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
looking like a rookie again, despite
Yeah.
that
Well, I
first
mean,
performance he had.
But they're playing Tampa Bay, who, I mean,
That's
like a
true.
middle school team at this point.
Colts at Steelers.
Hey, don't talk about Ryan's team like that.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, Tampa. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. They're the Brooklyn Nets of the NFL. Colts at Steelers.
Colts.
Colts.
I'm rolling with my boy Andrew
Yeah.
Luck, MVP candidate right now.
You know, my
Is he-
cousin is a Steelers fan. I didn't mean to interrupt you. My cousin is a Steelers
No, you're
fan.
fine.
And I enjoy every week just laughing at him and how bad they are.
Last week, not so much when they actually
Yeah,
showed
yeah,
up.
right. When they came back and scored like 21 points in like 3 minutes or something
I'm
like
like, where did that come from? I mean, it's
that. Yeah. But what were y'all saying about Andrew Luck?
No, I just think he's an MVP candidate right now. That's why I'm kind of rolling with the Colts. They're really his team. He's proven he's a leader. He's a great quarterback. So as long as he's rolling, I'm rolling with the Colts.
okay. And the last game, the game that nobody really cares about because it's not being played on United States soil.
Isn't it at like 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
It's 9:30 Eastern time, so 8:30
Jeez.
our time.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I guess a noon game over. Well, it would be like a 3 o'clock game over there. 'cause it's
Yeah,
like
they're
6 hours.
6 or 7 hours
Yeah.
ahead of us.
So Detroit Lions at Atlanta Falcons. I have Detroit winning. I don't know why, because I guess I have more confidence in Stafford than Matt Ryan right now. I guess.
Yeah, I have Detroit as well because really, I don't know who tweeted it. Somebody tweeted something just asking what is wrong with Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons.
Because they looked good.
Yeah,
in the
they look
beginning.
good every year, and yet they never live up to expectation. But they're too inconsistent for me. The Lions have been more consistent. I'm telling you, the key to success in sports, especially football, is consistency. So that's why I'm going to go with Detroit, even though I'll be hoping Atlanta can help out the Packers a little bit and pick up a win in London.
Yeah. But I'm not going to go back and pick. Is Calvin Johnson going to play finally?
They said that he might not, and he's on my fantasy
Yeah,
team.
he
So he's
said
gonna
he's
take
taking
one
his
more
time.
week off.
Yeah.
Because they have the bye next week, so he might just sit out again, just so he can have a long.
And it's
Yes.
over. Well, but to put a team over there, I mean, it would be nice to have Calvin Johnson on the field to help out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, I mean, that's just me saying it because you're trying to get a team over there. It helps out with the ratings and helps out with the fan bases.
They
that
want
are
a
over
team real bad, apparently, from what I was
Dude,
heard. Is the
it's-
word from London is
It
they
is-
really want an NFL
there.
team.
It is
not do
crazy. It's
I just don't know how they
bad
could.
idea.
I don't know how they really could.
Bad idea, but it's a great. I mean,
I wish they would. I mean, I wish it was possible, because London is just a great sports city. Like the soccer
they go
matches
crazy.
they have.
I mean, Oakland Raiders and
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins played each other, and
Yeah.
there were Oakland fans over there just going nuts.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way they could do that because London would be a great place for it, and it really helped grow the sport globally. But I just don't really see how you could really pull that off.
Until their team sucks, then we don't know how London will respond.
Yeah.
Because if you get one game a year, that's just like if I don't know. Let's say you like chocolate cake, right? And let's say I bring you.
Why did
one-
you look at the fat guy?
No. I'm
saying
just
that.
saying in general because I'm coming up with a scenario. Let's just say you like chocolate cake, right? And I bring you one that's about a week old, no icing on it, but you haven't ate all day or all week. You're gonna enjoy that, right? You're gonna enjoy it because you haven't ate. But let's say you eat healthy for a whole year, and I bring you that same cake. You're not gonna like that if you see. And I got other Hostess cakes on the side. You know, nice cakes. I got Portillo's cake on the side.
Ooh.
But you're not gonna like that.
Hey,
You're
you
not-
know who's getting Portillo's in
We're
a
not
week?
talking about that. But you're not gonna like the nasty cake if you got all the other good cakes around. So you put a team, let's say like a Oakland, Caliber, Jacksonville, and London. They might enjoy it at the beginning because they don't have a team. Once that team starts sucking and they start paying more attention to the sport because they have a team, they see all the other good ones, then it's a failure. So
I
it's
think it
better
could
off
be.
just not doing
I mean, it could be like that, but I think it'll be a little bit different. It's why like the Blue Jays always have such a good fan base, even though they're not necessarily good all the time. It's because they're Canada's team. You know, if you had a team in London, they would be England. They'd be Europe's team. They'd be like because it is the EU over there. The EU is basically a country, basically. So it'd be like Europe's team almost, and I feel like it would just be the novelty of the team all the way in London. That's why you would see kind of the fans turn out all the time, you know, even if they were bad.
Well, as long as my squad doesn't have to travel down there, because we don't need all that. We got a
Down
bottom
there,
line
you
on
mean over
Travel,
there?
yeah, across
down
the
there,
sea.
over there, wherever I'm not. U.S.
You're
soil,
not,
that's what we stay.
you're
U.S.
not
soil, I know.
U.S. soil. Okay.
US soil.
You don't know world geography that well.
No,
Okay.
You don't know where London is?
I don't care what
Or
London
England?
is. I don't live there.
Do you know where Europe is?
It's not here. That's all that matters. I have
Good.
No, I have
Good
no,
American. Good American
America.
Look
answer.
here.
America.
No, I have no interest in anything outside the United States as far as like geography wise.
America.
I do not want to go anywhere outside the United States in
I
life.
do. I
Like,
really
that's
do.
not, that's not intriguing to me unless I'm playing in the Olympics. That's the only reason I do that. Otherwise, I have no reason to do that.
So, all right, that's all I have for picks. I think we're gonna do our first break.
Are we taking a break? Right
Yeah.
now? That's what we're doing.
Come back
Yeah.
and do a little bit, and hopefully Adam shows up real quick so we can do our preview show for NBA on the last hour.
Yeah, that sounds good. I gotta get my. That's why I need my stuff in front of me. Is for that basketball preview.
Well, we're gonna take a little 3-minute break. So
Okay.
that means you got
All right, I got time.
You got
All
3
right.
minutes. to
Got
do
Sounds
that.
got a song going.
Yeah, got some whatever this is. Boys in the Hood.
Boys.
Easy E.
Okay.
Oh, easy. There we go.
We don't care
There
about
we go.
Easy E. Shout
Hey,
out to the Wu-Tang
hey.
Clan. December 2nd, A Better Tomorrow comes out. That's all that matters. No?
Just take us out, Darius.
Okay,
Just
whatever.
take us
Well,
out.
C4 Sports. We will be back shortly.
Side to side, then I let the Alpine play. Bumping new ish by NWA. It was gangster at the top of
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath, you can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dear Smokey Bear, for teaching us how to prevent wildfires for 70 years, outdoor lovers everywhere want to give you a bear hug.
I want to give Smokey a bear hug for teaching me that a fire isn't out till it's cold.
For teaching me to douse my fire with water, stir the ashes, and douse it again.
For showing me that sparks from a dragon tow chain can start a wildfire.
For being a big fuzzy bear, I like big fuzzy bears.
Happy 70th, big guy. Let's bring it in for a bear hug. Come on.
Wish Smokey a happy birthday using hashtag Smokey Bear Hug. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state foresters, and the Ad.
Welcome back, listeners. It's C4 Sports, and it's baseball talk for the next 8 minutes until our NBA season preview. So tune in for that second hour. We'll have bold predictions, rankings of gonna wins, predictions of the awards. Have some fun with it. Make some bold statements of it. But before we go on to that, World Series is going on. Giants versus Royals. It is tied 1-1 going into Game 3 tonight at the Giants. It's been a tale of two games, two different games. Game 1, Madison Bumgarner came out and just shut down the Royals pretty handedly. So it was nice to kind of see a loss by the Royals, just to see how they would come back from that, and they came back with a fury and won Game 2 by hitting, getting to the bullpen of the Giants and lighting up Strickland, who had a meltdown on the pitcher's mound, yelling at the batter who hit the home run, and infused. Both pitches came out just outside the benches, but it wasn't no punches were thrown. So that has been good. I know you two haven't watched it. Darius, I know you haven't even watched that at all.
Hey, I've been
banking on Adam to show up, but I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Game 1, and that was it. I watched like 3 innings from Game 1.
Yeah, that was all you needed to watch. After that, it was just horrible. But the big thing I want to talk about, and this is horrible because I'm talking to myself, is that Joe Madden.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, Joe Madden, the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, opted out of his contract effective immediately. And the first thing that came to my mind was, where is he going? I know he's not taking a year off to do, unless he comes out to it. But usually you don't leave your contract. You take a leave of absence maybe to deal with something, but you still stay on contract. But opting out means he's going somewhere, and the question is where.
The Dodgers.
And I think that's where he's headed. I think it's going to come up to Don Mattingly getting fired pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if it's this weekend or early next week. The only other chance I see him going, and this gives me shivers just going to say it, he could go to the Cubs.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Because you have Cashman, who's there.
Mm-hmm.
So they had good rapport from being in the AL East together. I could see him heading over there. And you know what? That's a game changer no matter what. I'm not saying that they're going to win the division, the Cubs, if that happens. But I'm going to stake, I would put it on it that 500 record, maybe even a little bit above. And I guess they could be in the last week standings of that second wild card spot. I'm not saying they're going to get into the playoffs at all, but I could see them having a chance of at least being on that games back leaderboard in that last week of the season if Joe Madden goes there, because Joe Madden knows how. I mean, he'll have more money up in Chicago than he ever did down in Tampa. So
and a much better fan base too.
Much better, and I think that's where you're going to see a firing happening quick, because you have to. If not, then I don't know what's going on. Unless he comes out and says that he's taking a break this year because the other teams are saying, hey, we want you next year, but we're going to stick with this guy for one more year. So, I would give, out of the chance-wise, if I'm going to be good old PTI right now, I'd say 75% chance he's going to Los Angeles, because he's going to follow his general manager he had in Tampa. 25% chance that he ends up in Chicago, and I could go lower down to 20. Those are the only two spots I see, because you're going to go somewhere with money. You're not going back, even though I don't know if Minnesota has hired a head coach yet, but he's not going to go up there. I say you're going to see no. I don't think you're going to see a firing happening quick now, especially this, I say, by Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday or Monday. Maybe they'll wait till Monday because they'll get over the college football and NFL football, but you're going to see a firing, and it's going to be awesome because everybody's going to speculate. It's like, oh, you fired your coach? Yeah, because we know why, because you're going to try to get Joe Madden.
Yeah, I don't think he would go to a small market either, especially leaving Tampa Bay. So, yeah, I would say probably 80-20 the Dodgers just because he already has a relationship with the GM. And it was known as soon as he left that they were talking, it was rumors that he probably would try and bring his own guy in. And
They were thinking about a trade.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say a trade, or they would let go Mattingly and try to trade stuff to them to get Madden.
Compensation.
Yeah, which you've been seeing more coaches get traded, and I've never seen that before.
I haven't either.
Well, I guess they're on the chopping block. They are paid by the organization. I guess they could be traded, but I've never seen it until this last couple of years, especially with the NBA. And finally, he shows up so he can put his thoughts into this. Joe Madden, where's he going? Because we all know he's not taking a year off.
No, there's no way he takes a year off. I think baseball keeps him young, is what he's always said.
He's got the hip glasses going on.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he's very kind of
hipster,
new wave,
of course.
Old school. I see him going to the north side of Chicago, and I see him managing the Cubs. I see them firing Rick Renteria. That just hasn't worked.
I'm surprised they haven't fired him yet.
See,
That's the only question
the
I
new
have.
developments, or maybe they didn't, or they knew something with Madden that some teams didn't, and they've already talked to him. You never know. The inner workings of Major League Baseball are phenomenal and mind-boggling at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could see that. That's kind of what I've heard.
What chances do you give him going out to L.A.? If we're gonna go PTI like we're going, percentage Chicago, percentage L.A.
See, it would be so unfair, and I think a part of Dodger Nation would fall kind of out of fandom if they got rid of Mattingly in the way that they would if they brought Madden on. I'm going to say 75-25, Chicago to LA.
Okay. What do you guys see, I guess, for the rest of the World Series now? For the series picks up tonight, we were just talking about that.
Give me after this game.
Okay.
Because it's going to be critical. I said Cardinals had momentum going into San Francisco in the NLCS, and that changed. I still think it's going to go back to Kansas City for Game 6, and Kansas City wins in Game 6, 4-2 series.
I actually agree. I had KC winning in 6 as well. It's going to be tough because now I'm going to kind of switch it to where I think the winner of Game 3 wins the series, no matter where it's played. I think it goes back to Kansas City, but I could see the Giants closing it out in 6 or 7 on the road. They're just experienced. But it's interesting. These two pitchers haven't had a whole lot of postseason time. Guthrie has pitched 5 innings, just 1 start, and Hudson's been in it, but the Braves have always lost early on, so it'll be interesting to see which offense comes to play and maybe which style prevails.
Which I think starter lasts a little bit longer.
Yes.
If Kansas City, because the bullpen looks horrible for Giants in that game too. So.
Right. And we all kind of knew that Kansas City's bullpen was deeper and better overall than San Fran's, but we didn't think that one guy could come in for San Fran and allow a 2-run double and then a 2-run home run to Omar Infante, who some people don't even know who he is. Some people don't even know he was in the league still. And
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Exactly. I mean, some people thought he was still on the Tigers, I've heard, so it's a mess, really, in San Fran. So you got to expect Tim Hudson to go maybe 7 and give the ball to Romo, or even Lincecum could become a factor.
Yeah, what happened to him? Wasn't he a Cy Young winner and MVP? Yeah.
He was. A little bit of control issues, mental issues, and
too much marijuana.
Well,
I heard that when they actually told him to start cutting back is when his production went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe he needed. I don't know. He just needed the chill factor a little bit more.
I guess so. I don't know.
No, I think teams figured it out. I think guys like him with a funky motion, they're new onto the scene to begin, and they have success, and then scouting reports get made.
Well, what was it, like 2008 or 2009 to like 2011? He was like the best pitcher in baseball, like Kevin Verlander.
Yeah,
and then
top
just
3.
all of a sudden, because I mean I don't keep my finger on the pulse of baseball too much, but then everybody's like, oh yeah, Lincecum is terrible, or I just stopped hearing about it. I'm like, wait, what? Like just a year ago, it seemed like this is like 2012. Like just a year ago, this guy was like the best pitcher in baseball, and now he's terrible.
But that
Apparently,
credits to how good the Giants are, because they're able to keep getting back to the World Series, and every time they're coming back, it's a new pitcher. They had Kane, and now who they have, Bumgarner or something like that right now.
Yeah, Bumgarner.
Bumgarner and Vogelsong.
You had Lincecum the first year. Lincecum showed up, I think, in 2012. Actually had a good postseason, which surprised most of us. So, yeah, that's before we go on to take a break and go on to NBA. What was your percentage of Chicago over LA? What was it? 80-20?
75-25.
75-25. I'm gonna keep track of that.
do you have any update for us for our Leatherneck Baseball Insider, or is it just kind of the same thing?
Pretty much the same thing. Batting practice and all. Putting it this way, waking up at 5:15 and doing conditioning drills, not fun.
Oh
not
yeah, I
fun
bet.
on Fridays.
Oh, I bet. That's not the way I'd want to start my Friday
No,
necessarily.
and it's a long day. It's 3 classes, and it's I don't want to whine over the public airwaves.
Hey, no
but,
pain,
man,
no gain.
It's a long day.
No pain, no gain.
That's right. It's a long day.
All right, so there you go. That's your baseball talk, your Leatherneck Insider with Mr. Adam Feiner. Coming up next is the moment a lot of you have been waiting a very long time for. Yes, Darius has got his drum roll going right there. It is the 2014-2015 NBA season preview. We got a whole hour to talk some basketball. Finally, it's been too long since we've gotten to talk some NBA. That's all coming up next on the best sports talk in Macomb. C4 Sports right here on 88.3 The Dog.
Hey, there's my son. You've been in your room all morning.
Hey, Dad.
Matt, what's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Oh, well, it's just sort of.
I have been playing my video games and electronic games for so many hours.
Uh-huh. Well, it sounds like it might be time for you to take a break, or...
Hello, Dad.
Susan?
I have been watching TV and text messaging all morning. Yay, electronics. Yay, yay, yay.
Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and take a little trip. Maybe see some trees, some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Okay, gang. So, chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again.
Mhm.
But, just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
So, who's gonna do what? Anyone? Yeah, okay, perfect. We'll figure it out as we go. So, who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Ah, good point. So, we all know who to call if something happens then, right?
I'd have to call Jill, Devin, Melissa, Karen, and Bruce.
And I will try to call all of you, but Greg doesn't have a cell phone. Dad's phone will have a dead battery.
No doubt.
And Julie will be on the phone with Jill, Devin, Melissa, Karen, and Bruce.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is WIUS 23.3 FM, The Dog.
And welcome back to C4 Sports right here on 88.3 The Dog. It's the time a very certain person in the studio sitting to my right has been waiting for, especially over the rest of us. I know, Ryan, you have some making up to do for some of your picks last year, specifically your NBA Finals pick.
I still have that piece of paper too. That's how horrible it is. Yep.
I won't bring it up. I won't bring it up on the air. Just like I agreed to not bring up Darius's nickname, I won't do it.
I'll bring it up.
Go for it.
Brooklyn. Yeah, that's all.
Well, I was going to be polite to both of you, but I respect that, Ryan. I respect that.
Well,
So-
hey, at least I did say that Oklahoma City would get a lot of hardware, and they won.
MVP.
He won MVP. I was thinking a little bit more than that, but hey, I at least got that right out of somebody that doesn't watch NBA that much. I'm hoping
Yeah.
I do better this year with my picks. So
where do you guys want to start? Just start by conference?
We
or
do whatever
okay,
you-
we'll jump right
whatever
into
you
it.
wanna do.
Darius, I know you. This is what you have been waiting for more than most of
I'm
us.
like a little kid in a candy
So
store
go
right
ahead,
now.
start us off with the. Let's go Western Conference. to
Western
start it off where
Conference.
the meat is.
We're going from 8-1 or 1-8.
8-1.
8-1. All right. This was tough. Actually, I have no new teams in the playoffs in the West.
Okay.
No new ones. So shout out to Phoenix. Shout out to a few other teams that y'all just couldn't make the cut. Number 8, I have the Houston Rockets, falling from a 4 seed to an 8 seed. Trevor Ariza is replacing Chandler Parsons, so they lost somebody who was giving you about 17 a game. Ariza, I mean, he's okay. He's a decent player, but I feel like Parsons was better for that system. I don't like the point guards that they have there. They lost Jeremy Lin, who's not great, but who exactly is your backup right now? Isaiah Cannon, I don't know who their backup is. Patrick Beverly is good on defense, but he can't hit a jumper. And then you have 2 bums as your biggest stars. Baby Boy Dwight, and then you have, who's the other one? I don't know why you just pointed to Ryan. He's so confused right now.
No, he's not.
How is he? Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, all right. But hold on, are we going 8-1? Like I go 8, he goes 8, or are we doing like 8-7?
I thought we were just gonna go 8.
Oh yeah, we can. Oh yeah, that's a better way. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that's that's what I had. James Harden. Who knows? He might maybe lead the league in scoring. Maybe that's what some people I keep hearing say. I don't know about all that. Either way, he still doesn't play a lick of defense. Dwight Howard. Yeah, from what I know, he is actually healthy, but he's still a baby. So whatever. 8 seed Houston Rockets.
I have the Phoenix Suns. We were talking about earlier before the radio show that who I was going to put in because I had to do this last second. I was cheering for the Suns to make the playoffs last year because
Yeah,
I mean
same
it was
here.
a good story, especially when everybody thought they were tanking.
Yeah.
You said they're going to lose a little bit less. I still think they keep it up because I think that they still have that mentality and they have the thing in the back of their mind that they're probably still thinking that they might tank this year, even though they're real good.
They do have my boy though, Isaiah Thomas. They did sign him. So I mean, but that's kind of the reason why I don't think they'll make it because they have 3 small guards.
Yes.
That's their primary best players, and I feel like that might hurt them. Along with them winning so many games last year, more teams are going to actually be looking at them.
Yeah, so I just have them 8. I'm just cheer factor. Get somebody new in there because it
Yeah.
helps out with parity. That's what it's. That's why over on the East, a couple teams that I'm cheering for to get in. That's why I have them in, just for that. So that's my answer.
I have a new team in there, and it's New Orleans at 8. Now, this all depends. This is a young team with not a lot of experience at all at any of their positions, but a lot of skill, a lot of high draft picks in there with Gordon, with Davis, even with, Tyreek Evans in there. It's a lot of skill, but it's inexperience, and I think they get in if they stay healthy.
Yeah, that's
because
a big thing.
Evans, Davis, and Gordon all spent significant time out last year. They stay healthy, they're a playoff team in my book.
For me, my 8 seed is the Phoenix Suns, which has been said already. I think they kind of break through this year. They were very close last year. Just looking at it, I think they're going to get in ahead of Dallas, who was the 8 seed last year, as well as I think they finished better than Memphis, who I think has lost a lot of offense recently. They rely too heavily on Mark Gasol and Zach Randolph in the post. And in the perimeter, the only guy I really have a lot of confidence in is Mike Conley, and he didn't impress me too much in the playoff series. I thought he played all right against, I believe it was Oklahoma City. That was a very good series, a lot of fun to watch. But he turned the ball over too much for me, and his jump shot is a little bit too inconsistent. So that's why I'm going to roll with the Suns. I think they're able to stay hot this year. Who is their head coach, the former player?
Jeff
Is it
Hornacek?
Hornacek? Yeah. All right, that's what I thought.
He was the coach of the year last year, wasn't he? Or
No,
what?
that's provision.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was up there.
So I think,
yeah, but he was. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think Hornacek really gets them rolling into this year. I really like what I saw from Goran Dragic. They seem to be a pretty complete team. They got a lot of surprising post play. I believe one of the do they have both Morris twins on the team now?
Yeah.
So I don't know which one. Whoever the one got more minutes.
I think that's Markeith.
Yeah, I always get both. They look exactly alike.
And they still have Gerald Green down there too. So they definitely have some players. I just feel like the West is so stacked that it's gonna be hard for them to get.
I think they slip in. They beat out probably either Dallas or Memphis by a game or two. So I'm rolling with Phoenix. Darius, what do you got for 7?
Okay, 7. Oh, this is a fun day for me. 7. I got Golden State. New coach. Still got Steph Curry though. Still got Klay Thompson. Some good ball players. Harrison Barnes, from what I'm hearing, he might maybe start this year. They might put Iguodala on the bench. I don't really know what system they're running with Steve Kerr as the coach now. We know he's inexperienced as being a coach. He has been a GM before, but that's not the same thing, of course. Steph and Klay, best backcourt in the NBA. I think everybody's basically said that by now. That is the case. They definitely will probably. I don't know how much more of a jump they can make, but just playing with Team USA, that's always going to give them a little bit of an edge. But once again, this is kind of a reflection of they're not necessarily the 7th best or worst team in the West, but the West is so stacked. And if we look at how it's been the last few years, basically from about 3 to about 7 or 8, the records are so close. It's like a 4-game difference. So all these teams could basically be a 3 seed, basically for the most part. So everybody that I have from 4 through 8, it could be shaking around just by 1 or 2 games. But I think Golden State probably will go ahead and get that 7 seed.
Yeah, I when I was doing it, my problem was I kind of knew who I wanted in the playoffs. It was trying to do the seeding.
Yeah.
And I'm saying mine is from 3 to 7. Well, I'm going to say 3 through 6 could go up or down either way.
Okay.
My 7th seed is Dallas.
Okay.
I liked what they did.
Yep.
Last year, especially in the playoffs, seeing Dirk come around again, I think he's got more life. I don't know.
Monte Ellis still in Dallas?
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know if they've added anybody Dallas has this offseason.
Chandler Parsons.
Oh, that's right. He did get Chandler. That's why they're a 7th seed. I like Chandler Parsons.
Yeah.
I don't know why Houston got rid of him. Maybe because they were baking on that.
They didn't want to pay him.
They were baking that Bosch deal.
Yeah, it was for Bosch, and then what happened was it kind of backfired, and Mark Cuban kind of did what Houston had did in the past, and they gave him the big contract offer, and Houston was like, we're not going to match that.
And that's another reason why I like Dallas in the playoffs. Mark Cuban being on TV a little bit longer is just so nice. Cuban is just so blunt, honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he has opinion on anything, and he stands up for it, and I like seeing owners for that. But he's not going to put his foot in his mouth and make stupid statements or that stuff. He's just going to be blunt, honest. They might sound stupid, but he has truth, and I can believe most of the stuff he's saying about sports, about business, and all that stuff. So, Mark Cuban's got to go in, and them signing Chandler Parsons going to help Dirk out. Not have to take as many shots. I think that helps Dirk out a little bit more. And did Tyson Chandler go back to them too? Okay, that's what I thought. He's iffy, but I think he could fit right in back down in Dallas because he was there before.
Yeah, when they won the title.
Yes. Yeah, so I think getting players back together is going to be awesome. They're my 7th seed.
They're also my 7th seed, and for pretty much all the reasons that you guys stated, I think they relied too heavily on Dirk in the past and even last year a little bit. Chandler Parsons is an emerging star. I won't say superstar at all because Darius might give me the look like, you go back talking about baseball. No, he's an up and coming star, I will say. And he deserves more shots than he got in Houston, because he had to share the ball with Harden, who would jack it up 35 times. Howard would want his touches. He couldn't get enough. And I think that's why he wanted a little more money and touches.
For me, my 7th seed, I think you make a good point in Dallas, especially with them picking up Chandler Parsons, because he is such a good player and his role was kind of diminished in Houston. But for me, I got to go with, at the 7th seed, I got the Pelicans coming in at 7. I think Anthony Davis has a breakout year. I don't know if he's going to be most improved player or not. but he's definitely kind of in that candidate. He already is kind of a star, so that's why I don't really see him winning the most improved player, but I don't know, breakout player, something like that. That's kind of what I see. I think he puts his name up there with kind of the upper echelon in the NBA. The guys, maybe not LeBron and Durant, but, guys kind of like that, like as long as Joakim Noah, other people like that, Dwight Howard, if you're going to talk big men. So that's why I think I got the Pelicans at 7. I don't know if they have the depth really to make any sort of run. I still don't really like their perimeter scoring too much. But I think with Anthony Davis alone and the kind of their interior play is enough to pull them through at 7. Because still, when I look at them as compared to a Grizzlies team or a Mavericks team, I like them a little bit more. It's a little hard. It was really hard just kind of looking at it, especially now. Looking on my computer, it's hard. Between those 4, I think are going to be battling for the 7 and 8 seed. So I think that brings us now to the 6th seed. Once again, we come back to Mr. Darius Hawkins.
Yep, 6th seed. I have Memphis, and the thing with Memphis is there's a level of consistency. A lot of people look at what they did last year, but they seem to forget that Marc Gasol was hurt for a lot of that year. And so, if Marc Gasol was healthy, they could have won. Possibly, they could have got maybe a 3rd seed last year. Memphis this year, they're def. Adding Vince Carter is a good move because they needed another 3-point shooter. I don't necessarily know how productive he will be at 37 years old. He did play well for the Mavericks last year, which was kind of a surprise to me because a few years before that he didn't play too well. But Mike Conley has shown that he continues to get better every year. My thing with Memphis is who is their small forward. Tayshaun Prince has proven that he was really on his last legs. He's still there, but they need some real small forward production. Maybe Vince Carter is going to run a lot of that off the bench. You're going to get Quincy Pondexter back healthy, who can shoot the 3 ball as well. So long as Zebo and Marc Gasol stay healthy this year, I think the 6th seed is basically where they're at.
I have Houston. Even though they lost some, I still think they make it in because how horrible the bottom of the West is. But I could see them going down to an 8 seed very easily. It just depends on if Harden and Dwight want to play well. It's just those two now. They can't depend on Parsons anymore, and I think they're going to lose some points. But I still have them as a 6 seed, and I could switch 7. Like I said, 7 through 3. Could interchange here and there by a game or so.
I also have Houston coming in at 6. I think the loss of Parsons is big. I also like what Darius pointed out with losing Jeremy Lin. You could put him and he could provide a spark off the bench scoring the ball. And then you have Pat Bev off the bench too if you wanted to play him there and have Lin start.
Yeah.
He provides a defensive spark. They're not very consistent yet. And as far as postseason success, we saw how that went last year. Portland had about as much experience as them.
Yeah.
And Portland looked years older than them. I see 6 seed. I just think they've lost too much, and we're going to see kind of how Terrence Jones plays. Kid out of Kentucky a couple years back. He's going to step into a little bigger role, and I'm a little anxious. Lefty, swingman, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up Terrence Jones because I remember coming out of that draft, he was kind of the player I was most excited for, other than obviously the Anthony Davis, his big pickup to New Orleans. So I'm glad you brought him up. I think he's going to do well in that role because I also have the Rockets as the 6th seed for me. I think it's kind of being proven now that James Harden is the typical player, like almost like a Carmelo Anthony. I don't want to say quite Kevin Durant because Durant has kind of blossomed into an all-around player, but it's guys we've seen like Carmelo Anthony, and I don't want to say Allen Iverson either, but it's a similar, like your typical scorer who's going to take a ton of shots in a game, and that's kind of all he's going to do is shoot the ball and score. He'll put up the points, but he plays kind of like a glorified one-on-one game, and while James Harden is one of my boys, just because when you got a beard like that and a mohawk like that, you're good in my book, but his play style doesn't really seem to be conducive to win it in the NBA. And you add in Dwight Howard, who's a bit of a head case, a bit of a prima donna as well, and his offensive game comes and goes. I just think the talent alone makes them a 6 seed, what they do have on that team. But other than that, I don't see him going very far in the playoffs. I think it's almost a repeat of last year, and that's just the way I look at it. When I look at the Rockets, it's the same as kind of like the Knicks. When you got a guy like Melo or James Harden, stuff like that, they're going to shoot a lot of shots, get a lot of points, but it doesn't really translate into winning from what we've seen in the NBA so far.
5th seed, they got the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this might be a little bit of a reach. I wouldn't be surprised if I had to even redo this again today. I might put Memphis at the 5 and Dallas as the 6, but I really like picking up Chandler Parsons. He adds another scorer to that team, like you said earlier, Adam, that to take the pressure off of Dirk. We saw Monte Ellis came in there and played well last year. Tyson Chandler is going to play defense and he's going to rebound. He fits perfectly alongside Dirk, as we've seen before they won the title. The only thing that I have a question about is their point guard situation. You brought in Jameer Nelson. You also got Raymond Felton in that trade with Tyson Chandler. But you let go of Jose Calderon because you had to let go of some type of piece. And Calderon is a guy who's not going to get a lot of publicity, but he gets his assists and he can hit the 3 ball very well. So I think maybe at this point they might have Nelson starting. You don't even have Shane Larkin there anymore, the young guy who was the first pick coming in the last season. So I'm still trying to figure out what they're going to do with the whole point guard situation. Maybe Jameer Nelson as a veteran role. I mean, maybe he can work out because if there's anybody, I mean, Greg Popovich is regarded basically as the best coach in the NBA. After that, you have Doc Rivers. Rick Carlisle is up there, too. Rick Carlisle always gets a lot out of his players. So if anybody can get it done, it's definitely him. As Ryan said earlier, I'm a big-time fan of Mark Cuban. That's my favorite owner in the NBA, and that's like rare to say because I don't really like owners in anything. But I would love to play for him because he's a diehard about his team. He's not out here wearing suits and ties all the time. He's courtside with the T-shirt. Sometimes he might say something a little foolish, but I mean we all do at some point. So I mean I can't necessarily blame him for that. But yeah, I think Dallas is gonna make a big jump and go from the 8th seed last year to being the 5th seed.
My 5th seed, I have Portland. Had a great season last year. Came out of nowhere, I think, especially for somebody that doesn't watch basketball. And it's nice to see the Northwest have a team doing good since Seattle left.
Yeah.
So I have them at 5. I don't have much to say. Yeah, that's where I have them.
I have Golden State at the 5, and they're kind of in that group where it's like you said, Ryan, about 7 to 4 is kind of interchangeable, and that'll be fun to watch coming down the stretch with about 10 games left, and there's 5 teams jockeying for 5 positions. I have them there based on the fact that they're going through a coaching change and why they got rid of their coach in the first place. Mark Jackson, no clue. I don't know why. I think they wanted to kind of make a splash, no pun intended, with the Splash Brothers. I didn't mean to do that. They wanted to get a guy in Steve Kerr, who was kind of labeled, he was sitting in the broadcast booth, but when a big-time job offer opened up, he was going to be there. You know, he was talked about going to New York. He was talked about even maybe filling the void in Memphis. Wasn't big enough for him. Goes to Golden State. I see him bringing life to the stadium, or I'm sorry, the arena and such. I mean, in their play of, their style of play does that. But as far as big men, I mean, are you really going to rely on Andrew Bogut and Draymond Green down there? I don't know. I just see them at the 5, and I don't think they're really close to the top 3. And we'll get to that.
Yeah, you kind of said it because I also have the Golden State Warriors at my number 5 seed. Yeah, Adam, you kind of said everything that I was going to say. For me, it's just the inside game is the big question, and their defense as well. I still think Curry and Thompson are a little bit questionable when it comes to guarding, especially the elite talent in the NBA, which is what they would have to do if they want to go deep in the Western Conference playoffs or come out of the Western Conference, which I don't think they can do. And I don't know, you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. I really like Harrison Barnes a lot. I think he's a great swingman, kind of a more traditional swingman in the sense of the word, which we don't see too much in the NBA nowadays. But at the end of the day, I think they have a lot of talent. I don't really know why they got rid of Mark Jackson. I did not like that move at all. But I guess you bring in Steve Kerr, and if you want anybody coaching shooters, I guess it would be him. But I still have the Warriors at 5.
Number 4, I got my boy Dame and the Portland Trail Blazers. So jumping one spot last year. They're probably going to have the same record. I really wish that they could win the West and get to the finals. That's not going to happen. But the thing is, they didn't really make too many moves on the bench. The starters are fine, but they need a lot more bench production. Steve Blake coming in as a backup is okay. I mean, it would have been nice if they could bring Mo Williams back, but he wanted a bigger type of deal, and then that backfired on him. Now he's in Minnesota. And then getting Chris Kaman, he'll be productive coming off the bench, hopefully. But, I mean, you have Darrell Wright, you have Will Barton. So you have some players off the bench. Hopefully C.J. McCollum, they get him active, get him playing a little bit more. But they really need to focus on getting that bench right. And also, Dame has to get right on his defense. I know he's been working on that, but Tony Parker lit him up on the pick and roll last year when they played the Spurs in the second round. So, really, they have almost all the pieces you can get, but what they're struggling from right now is the top of the West is too good for them to be at that level, and the second half of the West, they're slightly better than the second half. So they're kind of stuck in the middle, and there's not really too much wiggle room to get better or worse. So they're probably going to have the same exact record as last year, but just get one seed better.
4, I have Oklahoma City. I think Durant going down is going to hurt him. But it sounds it's not going to be a lot a lot of games missed, but I think it's just enough. I don't think Russell Westbrook can be your leader out on the court by himself. And yeah, I just have a funny feeling it's just going to be a down year for Oklahoma City.
I have Portland coming in at number 4. Based on the fact that they had a good year last year, and it's going to be interesting to watch kind of a still young team as far as their best players, Damian Lillard, even LaMarcus Aldridge, although he's been in the league for a while. He's still relatively young.
Yeah.
We're going to see how they respond. We're going to kind of see if they mature in front of our eyes or if they kind of wilt back to their old ways. And the West is good enough to where they could sink down to the 7 or 8. I could see Dallas jumping up there. I could see, even Memphis joining in there. Phoenix if they have a breakout year. The West is good, and I'm very interested in Portland, actually. I think they're probably the most intriguing team in the West, in my eyes.
Yeah, I think you made a good point with Portland. That's why I have them as a team to watch this year. But for 4, I agree with Ryan. I have Oklahoma City at 4. I think losing Durant really hurts Oklahoma City. Of all the teams in the NBA, like with these kind of top star players, I think Durant, you can make the case he means the most to his team. Either probably Durant or LeBron is most important to their team, especially with Oklahoma City. The reason I've said they can't win in the past, and they won't, at least how their roster looks right now, is the depth. They don't have the depth. They're like a 6-man rotation in Oklahoma City, which it was proven this year by San Antonio, and in the past, all the role players on the Heat, or if you want to keep going back, the Lakers, everybody kind of gelling around Kobe Bryant in that triangle offense. They just don't have the depth, I see, to really win in the playoffs. And their interior scoring, I don't like it at all. Especially Serge Ibaka needs to develop some sort of low post game to really be consistent and really open up that offense. If he could score in the low post, wow, Westbrook, Durant, and Ibaka, that would be scary. But as it stands right now, he really can't. So that's why I got them at 4. They still have Durant, they still have Westbrook, they still have a ton of talent, but they don't have the depth. And Durant being hurt, they're going to get off to a very slow start, I think, to start the season. It's going to be hard to come back from that in the Western Conference. They'll make some noise, but I kind of agree with you, Ryan. I think in terms of Oklahoma City, this is a down year, as I use air quotes for Oklahoma City, but 4 seed in the West is a down year for them. But that's why I got the Thunder at 4, and I don't really think they make too much noise, at least what we're used to seeing from them in the playoffs. Maybe like a second-round exit.
Yeah, I got second-round exit for them, too, and they're my number 3 seed. But that's basically normal for them right now at this point because, as I've said before, with Scott Brooks as your coach, you will not win the title. So they weren't going to win one even if KD was 100%. At this point, I don't think that they'll have necessarily a big, fall off to start the season, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I'm just going to say right now, Russell Westbrook is the best point guard in the NBA.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I would agree with that as it
he's
stands
the best
right
point
now.
guard, and he's been the emotional leader of that team, even when KD was out there doing what he was doing last year. Because you watch when Westbrook comes back, he's basically running the show, and the players usually respond to him, and KD is quiet, standing in the corner some of them times. So I think that they'll get the 3 seed, and they'll lose probably in the second round, and it's going to end up being a lot of noise. All the talk is going to be about Kevin Durant because you already had the rumor about him going to the Wizards in 2016.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, obviously, LeBron has his rings. For some reason, people have just kind of ignored Dwight for the time being. So besides Derrick Rose, Kevin Durant probably is going to be hearing most of the noise this year.
What about Melo?
It's like people don't really care about. I don't know. He doesn't get a lot of talk about winning titles. It seems like
that style of play does not win titles.
I don't know if it's because I'm talking about like from the media. Like they don't like put the pressure.
Which is
on
a little surprising, seeing as he's in New York.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he's been around for a while, and also because Kevin Durant is better than him.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's probably what it is. Because now that's what it was with LeBron. It was he's the best player in the NBA. He hasn't won a title. Now that LeBron has 2 rings, it's okay. Well, Durant's the next best. It's really because LeBron and Durant aren't. They're on their own level as compared to everybody else.
So, yeah, I got OKC at 3. I think it's interesting to see. I think that they're going to end up playing a little bit better than what some people think. But it's interesting to see what Westbrook is going to look like this year. Some people are saying that he's going to be like Allen Iverson, shooting all the time. Other people are saying that he's going to play his normal way, which, I mean, he still gets a good amount of assists regardless. But I really think it's interesting if he starts off playing well. What if, hypothetically, he goes off like how KD did during that streak?
Yeah.
Then when Durant comes back, it changes everything. And that's really what a problem I think is going to come for Oklahoma City. It's not going to be the beginning of the year. It's not going to be the end. It's going to be that period when Kevin Durant comes back. And I think they're going to have to adjust. So, yeah, I got them at the 3 seed.
I have Golden State. I think Steve Kerr helps. I think he helps out their guards. And I think they need a little bit more presence down low. But in an age you still have that 3-point shot, it's going to help. And I just have them there. Wouldn't be surprised me if them and Portland could switch spots out of anything, or OKC turns up. I just have a feeling about Golden State and Steve Kerr. It's nice to see a former Chicago Bull get a coaching job. Especially going there, and everybody thought he headed to New York. So, I have Golden State in 3.
I'm going to agree with Darius. I'm going to go with OKC at the 3, and I like the point you made, Darius. Once Durant comes back, what's it going to be like? Because Westbrook was out last year, and the team responded okay. I mean, with Westbrook coming back, he wanted to get his shots. He's going to be the true alpha dog this year with KD out for, I can't think, 6 weeks?
6 to 8.
Yeah, 6 to 8.
He's going to get his shots. He's going to get plenty. Now, is Scott Brooks going to kind of change it a little bit once KD comes back? I don't know. And I see conflict, and I do see them barely holding on. I see them holding off Portland by like a half game for the 3 seed. But I see a second round exit, and I think the noise is too loud, and they need to make a change to keep KD, and I think Scott Brooks ends up getting fired.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. That's a valid point. I kind of touched on some of that when I put OKC at 4. For me, I have the Blazers at 3. I think they're kind of that hot up-and-coming team, almost how, like 2010 Oklahoma City, how they were. I think that's the Trailblazers right now. I really like LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm glad he's kind of hitting his stride. He finally has a good team around him. And obviously goes back to Damian Lillard, who looks like he's about ready to take the NBA by storm. Maybe 2 to 3 years. You could be saying he's the best point guard in the NBA. That's your boy, I know, Darius. So I really like the Blazers this year. I think they have a breakout year. I think they actually lead the standings in the NBA for a while. Like, they have the best record for a long time. Maybe finish the season at a 1 seed. Maybe. I could see that. I'm not going to go ahead and put them there. Also, because I'm kind of doing this off of how I think they'll kind of finish in the playoffs as well. But I think they play really hot. They give a lot of teams a lot of matchup problems there. When you talk about depth, Portland has a lot of depth on their side. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Blazers at 3. I really like what I see from them. I just don't think they're quite ready to make that step into the top 2 or come out of the West. Maybe even next year, if they can make a deep playoff run, like conference finals, I really think they're like 2010, 2011 Oklahoma City. So that's why I got the Blazers at 3.
Oh, it's me. Number 2, I got the Clippers. And I have a lot I could say about the Clippers, but I have some of them players on some of the future picks we have giving out awards. So I'm not going to say too much about them. All I'm going to say is it just made it easier to pick them at number 2 once KD went down. Because if he was healthy, I would have had the Clippers at 3. So this might be the Clippers' chance to finally get it all together this year.
Yeah, I have Clippers at 2 also. I think it's just that they can play basketball now. And they have everything squared away. A new owner helps out. And I think Doc Rivers, I'm going to give it a little bit because I don't know if we'll get to it. I have Doc Rivers between him and Derek Fisher winning
Derek
Coach
Fisher.
of the Year.
We're gonna get to that. Save it. We're gonna get to the awards. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think Doc. Hey, it's me.
Hey, is that
It's
the
me.
Brooklyn pick this year right there?
Yeah, I guess so. Shut up. I think Doc Rivers is going to coach them, and I could see them winning the West. I don't have them, but I have Clippers high up there.
I have the Clippers as well. I took them last year to win the West, and that didn't work so well. But the pieces are all there. I mean, you still got the big names. You got DeAndre Jordan, you got Blake Griffin, you got Chris Paul, you got Doc as your coach. The Spurs are getting older. It's not like they reverse time. They're getting older. Durant's out for an extended period, so they could build their lead and really shoot for the 1 seed. Go after San Antonio and make it competitive in the West. I just don't see them doing it. Not quite yet. I'm just not comfortable picking anybody but San Antonio.
Yeah, I agree. I got Clippers at 2. The Clippers are going to be clipping this year, but yeah, I just don't think they're a deep enough team. Yeah, you know, I got to drop that Fresh Prince reference. Of course. You know when he was lying to Uncle Phil, he said he was at the Clippers game and he asked him how it was. He's like, "Oh yeah, you know, they were clipping."
Yeah, that's a surprise when I actually don't get that reference.
I'm disappointed.
Is that the episode with? Okay.
I don't remember which episode it is. I just know whenever me and my brother talk about
I've
the Clippers.
seen them all at least like 100 times.
Whenever me and my brother talk about the Clippers, we always say they were clipping, just because it's from the Fresh Prince.
I thought that was. Hold on. I thought that's when he lied to Lisa.
He's lying to somebody.
Oh, okay. You said Uncle Phil. That's
I
right.
don't know, I just knew he was lying to somebody.
I think it was Lisa when they went to the party. Yeah. Okay. But anyway. Yeah. But oh, were you done?
Yeah. I got them at 2. I just think they kind of are that typical team. You know, they have the regular season success and they just can't seem to find it in the playoffs. That's because I think Blake Griffin is a bit overrated still. I still think he's a bit overrated. I don't think he's consistent enough scoring wise, and there's not enough to his game. He's got the athleticism. I don't know if he has the technical ability to really be that kind of go-to guy in the playoffs. And Chris Paul, I just think he needs to shoot a little bit more, especially on that team. I think he should be the best point guard in the NBA, but I don't know if I'd put him there right now. It's him or Russell Westbrook. It's a toss-up. I really want to say Chris Paul, but I don't know. He just passes a little bit too much for me, which is weird for me to say that because I kind of like those guys that always make the right decision with the ball. But I feel like at times I wish he would kind of shoot more. And I don't know, in the playoffs, he just seems to be inconsistent in the playoffs, which I also don't like. So at the end of the day, I got the Clippers at 2. I do have them in the Western Conference Final, but yeah, I think we all have the same number 1 team.
Yeah, we all have the Spurs.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is they're the deepest team in the NBA, but I don't have them repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're the deepest team in the league. They're the best team in the league too, but I just think getting to 3 straight NBA Finals is a little bit too difficult for them, so I'm not gonna have them going back to the finals. Yeah. But they will win the West.
I like the Spurs way too much. I mean, Papa's your coach. Where can you go wrong?
Yeah.
They're the champs until you beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Spurs are clearly the number 1 team in the NBA.
Well, Matt has
I have some technical difficulties. I don't really know what that was. But yeah, it's Spurs all around. Yeah. Deepest team in the NBA. I mean, yeah. Everybody, you know what you're getting with the Spurs at this point. So let's go ahead and move on to the Eastern Conference. I think this is a little bit less interesting until we get to the top.
I was just gonna run through all mine in the East,
that's fine.
There's not
Go
even
for
that
it.
much to talk
Yeah.
about. All right, 8. I have Ryan's favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets.
You actually have them going to the playoffs?
Yeah, I do not have Brooklyn in the playoffs.
Yeah, because the rest of the East is horrible. Mom, you texted me about the Pacers. We just got to the East. Calm down. 7. I have the Atlanta Hawks. 6. I have the Miami Heat. But I will say one of my surprise things is the Heat might be better than a lot of people think. I almost put them at the 3 seed. They might be better than a lot of people think. I don't know what exactly Wade might do, but they have some veterans there. So if they get together, it might be all right. They just have a lot of new players. Number 5, I have Toronto. Number 4, I got Charlotte Hornets. And a lot of people are going to sleep on Charlotte, but Lance Stevenson being there, along with Al Jefferson and Kemba Walker, they're going to be able to play well. Number 3, I have the Wizards. I hope my boy Brad Beal gets healthy. Broke his wrist. That kind of messed up what I was going to do with them a little bit, but 3 seed, that's still where they were going to be at. Number 2, I have the Cavs. A lot of people are thinking that the Cleveland might win the East. No, they won't, as far as regular season-wise or in the playoffs. And the reason, we'll get to the playoffs later, but they don't have a bench, first of all. They're not deep at all. And also, they have no defense. LeBron is the only defender on that team. They do have rebounding, unlike what Miami had, but they don't have defense at all. All their biggest stars, besides LeBron, cannot play a lick of defense. And I already know Kevin Love is going to annoy me this year because all he does is spot up at the three-point line. He said he wants more touches, but when I watched him in the preseason, he's not even in the paint. So if you want more touches, maybe you should post somebody up. And then number 1, can we take out the Derrick Rose clause again this year?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Number 1, I have the Bulls being the number 1
what's
seed.
What's your Derrick Rose? What's your insurance? You got to put something in the insurance policy. It can't be an empty bank.
Well, I mean, if he's hurt, then they're not going to.
Because I had the Pacers. That's why. That was my insurance policy.
No. They're still going to make the playoffs regardless.
Well, I mean, like, who do you have? Because I'm assuming you have the Bulls coming out of the East.
Yeah.
With Derrick Rose. Well, if he gets hurt, then what's your prediction?
then it's Cleveland because nobody else can compete with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah. So
you can't have an empty policy.
Right.
You gotta have something.
So I got the Bulls being number 1, Cleveland being number 2.
Okay, so my East, and I feel a little better actually looking at ESPN's and listening to you. I feel a little bit better about my picks. I'm going to say, first of all, who I don't have in. I don't have the Pacers or Brooklyn making the playoffs.
Yeah, Pacers I don't either.
I don't. I'm off that Brooklyn bandwagon already. So I have Toronto at 8.
Ooh.
Big fall.
I just don't know where to put them. You're talking about a non-NBA person. Don't look at my 7.
No, it's good.
Yeah. My 7 is I have New York Knicks. I think he has. It's kind of like
There's too much talent.
It's kind of like Ovechkin.
I just think there's too much
it's
talent
like
in New York.
Ovechkin and why I put Washington in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's too good not to make it.
And the East is too bad.
It's too bad. I have him as a 7. Then I have the Hornets at 6. I like Charlotte. Charlotte was the only jersey I ever bought for NBA because
Why?
of Anthony Mason.
Really?
My last name's Mason, and I
Okay.
had family live down there. The only jersey I've ever had was the Charlotte
You
Hornets.
said wow, like you was hating on the jersey or something.
No, I just did. That was random. For of
Atlanta,
all the teams that I've
yeah.
heard Ryan talk about,
Yeah.
that would have been one of the last ones.
well,
that I would
I
pick
have
for him.
Atlanta 5, Miami 4. I think Miami's still a good team, but I think they drop a little bit. And by how I have it set up of the standings, this is going to set up for an awesome second round matchup. I have Washington 3. I think they could battle for 2 maybe against the Bulls.
Yeah.
I have Bulls. I'm just going to put them 2 just because of the Derrick Rose factor.
Okay.
And then I have Cleveland, which makes up for, I'm making the statement now, Miami and Cleveland face each other in the second round of the playoffs.
Interesting.
Good setup. I can't believe I'm going to say it. I got the Knicks at the 8.
I am not the
Put
only
it
one.
this way.
Thank you.
Put it this way. They've got to beat out 2 teams who are extremely lackluster in Indiana and Brooklyn. It's a taffy pull between those 3, and Carmelo's probably going to have to score 30 a night to get him in, and he's skilled enough to do it, and the pressure's off him. He's got a new contract. We'll see how the triangle offense works. It'll be interesting. Let me see. I have, I have Atlanta as a 7. Al Horford's going to come back. We'll see. I want to see Jeff Teague improve a little bit. I think he's very skilled. How much? I don't know. I mean, he's okay at that point. I have Toronto as a 6. Just not enough, really, quite yet. I think DeRozan's an up-and-comer. We'll see where he goes. Terrence Ross, up-and-comer. Valanciunas, good double-double guy. Kind of disappeared in the playoffs a little bit for me. Let me see. As the 6, I have... 6. I have Charlotte. They're a little too inexperienced for me quite yet. Kemba hasn't been in the postseason. Lance has had a little bit, blows in little bounds here. He makes people mad, but he's a good player and he's going to get his touches. It's a good move for them. I have the Heat at 5. They lost a lot. I can't really say anything other than that. I'm missing a team somewhere in here.
Pacers make that?
No. Let's see. I missed somebody in there.
Wizards?
I have the Wizards as the 3.
Okay.
I have the Bulls as the 2. The Cavs as the 1. Actually, no. I have... Let me see. Indiana at the 8. New York at the 7.
All right.
So, and everybody moves up 1.
I got you.
So, The East is just brutal. Again, it'll be fun to watch the top. It'll be interesting to see who the top plays in the first round.
Yeah, the top 3 or 4 teams I think will be fun to watch, but really, I probably will not watch any of the other teams, to be honest.
I would like to see the bottom, see who gets in there. Like,
I don't really think it matters. I don't think they stand any chance
who
against the
wins.
Bulls or the Cavs or the Wizards. Because for me, I have Hornets 8, just with the Lance Stevenson pickup and the talent they do have.
You got them dropping off, and they got better.
Who?
Hornets.
No, I have Charlotte. The Charlotte
Right.
Hornets.
You have them dropping off, and they got better.
Yeah, I got them at 8 because I have the Knicks at 7, the Heat at 6,
Yeah, okay.
the Pacers at 5.
Hold on. Oh my God, the Pacers at 5.
Yeah. I think they still have the talent in the East to make the 5 seed.
They lost all their players. They lost.
They still have the
Lance and
talent.
Paul George.
They still have the talent though,
Who?
even without
George
Paul
Hill?
George. They still have I not George Hill, but I still think David West and I don't think Roy Hibbert does another 0-0 performance.
You see that man's haircut? He's gone.
Sorry. So I had the Pacers at 5, the Raptors at 4, Wizards 3, Cavs 2, Bulls uno with the Derrick Rose clause in place.
Okay, all right. Before we get to the awards and playoffs, all this, what the heck are y'all watching with the New York Knicks?
They have the talent, and the
Yeah,
East is
they-
so
No,
bad. The
first
East
of all,
is so
no,
bad.
no, they don't have the talent. No, they don't. First of all, you have a new coach, Derek Fisher, who I have no reason to believe he's a good coach. He has not coached anywhere. You have Carmelo. That's fine. You have Earl Smith III. Okay. Who's already saying that the triangle is hard for him because he's not used to passing the ball, which whatever. You have Shumpert, which maybe Phil Jackson likes him. Hopefully they make him fit. Calderon is a nice piece. So I can see maybe the 8th seed, but you have no big men on that team. Amari.
That's why they'll get the 8 seed or the 7.
You have them 7 above the Hornets.
Yeah, 8 or 7.
All y'all have them
They
7.
have the talent,
matter of fact.
'cause
Now,
they have the talent.
I can understand Adam having them 7 because he has the Pacers below them. So that actually makes sense. But you have the Hornets,
Yeah.
who were, I believe, the 5th seed last year.
I don't think
7th?
I don't think they have everything to put it together this year, even though they did add Lance Stevenson. I don't think
Okay.
they match up well with a lot of the
Even
other
that's
teams in
fine,
the East.
But you have the Pacers being better than the Hornets.
Yeah.
With their best player is David West.
Yeah. Because I think interior, it's going to be hard to score on them on the interior, and a lot of teams in the East struggle in the post.
You know they lost their 3 best perimeter players.
Yeah.
Right? And
I
you
still
know-
think their post game
you know
will
they
get
picked
them
up
into the
Ronnie
East. I don't know
Stuckey,
if they'll necessarily make 5. I just kind of put them there because I didn't really know where to put 5, 6, 7. But with the Pacers, Heat, and Knicks, but I think they'll make the playoffs at one of those 3 spots.
Okay, and I see we're split with Bulls and Cavs, which is all good. We had the Wizards 3. Okay, so see, that's where y'all surprised me, T. Y'all surprised me with the Pelicans in the West because the Pelicans have Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, and nobody else. 'Cause Eric Gordon is hurt half the year every year. Tyree Evans ain't been done since his rookie year. And then the freaking New York Knicks. I don't
Yeah.
understand what's going on.
They can't have another season
we
as
have
bad
the
as
hockey
last
factor.
season.
Because
Yeah.
we see Ovechkin, and as great as he is, that's why I'm having the Knicks.
But
is the
Ovechkin is great. Who's great on the Knicks?
I still think.
Well, at
no,
least from
it's-
scoring, he's the best offensive player in the NBA. Probably.
The best offensive player only has 1 scoring title.
Well,
that
the
makes
best.
you mediocre.
Okay, well, the best.
Okay,
the best scorer.
You're going to have less than a 500 record to be an 8 or 7 seed in the East.
Yeah.
I think they can squeak a couple wins out here and there, and
shoot, you got the Knicks winning the division. Because you got them above Toronto. Oh, no, my fault. You got the Wizards. My fault.
I have the Wizards. I have the Wizards.
Okay, all right. So
then you were making me really question my.
Okay, but yeah, we had to have some further talks with you, Matt, about your.
I say 7, 6, and 5. Those are all interchangeable for me.
The Hornets are going to get worse, and they got better. I don't understand how.
Can we go to awards?
Yeah,
let's go to awards.
I don't understand. How do you get better? You
just don't-
got a player who led the league in triple doubles last year, and you fall off, and the Knicks pass you up. The Knicks have no basketball players who actually think correctly besides Jose Calderon.
But they score the ball.
No, what does that mean?
JR, Mello, you got.
Didn't they score last year?
Timeout.
They're not going to have a repeat performance of last year.
And it's going to be harder for them to score. They got a new system. None of them know that system.
Hey,
They still have
championships and
Carmelo.
awards. We have 10 minutes. We can
we do have
argue
10
for the rest of the year of how dumb we are with the Knicks, and you can make fun of us in April when they don't. They're the.
I know
15th
they
ranked
could
team.
make the playoffs, but I'm saying they're not going to be better than Charlotte. There's no way that's going to happen, unless Al Jefferson gets shot in the calf. There's no way that's going to happen.
Talk to him. I didn't pick him.
Okay, what are we doing? We got any surprise players?
No surprise players.
I think for me it's just I think Anthony Davis has a huge season. I think he wins best of the rest, whereas in the MVP it's going to be LeBron and Durant 1 2. So where Noah won it this past year, I have Anthony Davis winning like MVP number 2, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, that's my same when I have Anthony Davis. I think he's going to be a legit superstar this league.
Yeah.
Y'all know I don't use that term lightly. I think he's about to show up. Now, I don't have them making no playoffs because their team is not good, but I think they're going to be competitive. So they're going to be around, competing for a little bit. Any disappointments?
Pacers dropping off. I could see them being 12th in the conference. I think Paul George and Hibbert, even though my joke's still coming with Hibbert, but I think they're just real horrible. Yeah, that's about it.
I actually think Memphis, honestly. The move to get rid of Lionel Hollins just boggles my mind still. How you could do that and how he was successful and actually brought life to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get rid of him, there's something fishy about that. And I don't see him making it in the West. It's just way too competitive.
Yeah, I guess for me, if I'm going to do any sort of disappointment, I think Memphis is one for me. And I would say kind of Oklahoma City, but I wouldn't really say it's disappointing. I just say not up to what we've not up to what we've seen from them in the
still
past.
has them as a 1 seed.
Yeah,
in the West.
like I said, OKC. We talked about Houston. My only other disappointment is Kevin Love. His numbers are not going to be as good as people think.
Yeah, what do you guys got for others? Just go ahead and say award that I think.
I was just going to say surprises real quick. Only surprise I have is that
that's right.
LeBron James is going to take a while to get used to that system because he's playing off ball. So he's not winning MVP this year. It's going to be a new MVP this year. It's not going to be LeBron. It's not going to be KD, and it's not going to be Rose.
Wow. Okay, so you're done with surprises. What are we doing now? Awards?
I didn't know if anybody else had any.
You got any?
No, I don't have any surprises.
Yeah, you're right. You got Derek Fisher competing for Coach of the Year. That's a surprise.
Hey, if they get 500 record and make the playoffs, I'd say he's up there. As being a rookie coach, I think it says a lot. Look at Hornacek.
But they were good.
They were good, but who knows out of the East?
Man.
What's going to happen? Maybe honorable. Okay, I'll put Derek Fisher as honorable mention. He gets a participation ribbon.
If we were here last year, there's no way I would have said Phoenix was good. So you have a point. You are correct.
Oh gosh. Oh man. As far as others, not really. I mean, oh man. I don't know who the Pelicans coach is, but he could be up there depending on if they stay healthy. I mean, they could really compete for maybe
Monty Williams.
Monty Williams. He could compete for Coach of the Year, possibly. Otherwise, I see it's a lot of the same. I mean, LeBron's up there as far as the MVP talk. I will say this. If Westbrook really carries OKC in the middle portion, or the beginning portion, he could be dark horse MVP.
Yeah.
So, I guess, who do you guys have for MVP?
I'm going to go last. Because there's no way that y'all going to guess who's on my list.
Okay. Because I have LeBron James. LeBron James won it when he said he was going back to Cleveland. I think people will have better numbers than him and be better players, but the gods will say, "Hey, you wrote a wrong." So I have him winning. I don't want to, but when he decided, like I said, when he decided to go back, he wins it. I think Derrick Rose has better numbers. I think Russell Westbrook will compete with him. I think Durant will have better numbers. Them will be 3, but he'll be 4th. Carmelo will have better, I think, points wise.
Well, yeah.
But he'll win just because of him going back to Cleveland. And I hate saying that, but I think that's true.
I want to pick Chris Paul again. I really do. I so bad want to, and I want to believe in LA, but I can't. And I think you're onto something there, Ryan. I think LeBron's going to kind of get that. You came home. I mean, it's a feel-good story. I think he ends up winning it. Don't be surprised if Russell Westbrook sneaks in there and wins it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I'd probably go LeBron as well, just off the fact he's the best player in the NBA still. And you add in the fact going back to Cleveland, and it's all sports writers voting on it. That definitely helps. I guess for me, my dark horse then would be either I'd say Anthony Davis. That's who I'd pick. I like the Russell Westbrook pick as well, especially with the Durant injury. But so I guess I'd go LeBron or Anthony Davis.
Blake Griffin is going to win the NBA MVP this
Really?
year. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because, for one, OKC being a third seed hurts Russell Westbrook. LeBron is not going to win it, like I said, because his numbers are going to fall. Rose, their team is the deepest team in the league, and he might have some struggle, so he's not going to win it. And then you look at the one team in the West, you're looking at the Spurs. They don't have one dominant person who's going to stand out.
Yeah.
You look at the Clippers, Chris Paul. I wrote that with Adam last year. He didn't get the MVP like I thought he would. Blake Griffin, I've had problems with him because of him being soft. He's starting not to do that. He's talking about he's going to retaliate. He grabbed Trevor Booker by the back of the neck. He got a lawsuit. Somebody said that he slapped somebody in the club just this past week. So he's getting that little angry stretch. He finally has a post up. He finally has moves in the post. His jump shot has looked reliable so far in the preseason, and I don't trust that too often. Blake Griffin is going to win NBA MVP. And now I'm just going to take that into the final thing we might as well talk about because we're almost done. NBA Finals prediction, who's going to win? I got Clippers over Bulls. Clippers are going to win the NBA title.
Who do you got, Ryan? Mr.
I have Spurs over the Bulls. I got to beat the champs.
Yeah.
And they've been the champ 2 years in a row. I'm not counting that first year. I still think they won that in my heart.
They're the champs until they're champs. It's Spurs over Cavs. I'm going to say it's similar to when Miami had LeBron for his first year. He got him there. I don't think it's enough to beat San Antonio.
I'd probably say Spurs over Cavaliers as well. I really want to pick the Bulls coming out of the East, even if Derrick Rose is healthy. But I just think we've always seen Derrick Rose, his team, struggle against LeBron's teams, even though they're deeper. It's just Rose cannot score. Can't do it. When LeBron comes on him, then who's going to score for the Bulls? They got Pau Gasol and Jimmy Butler, but are you really going to – I'll take Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love over those two when it comes to scoring the ball. The defense, like Darius said, is not what it was in Miami for LeBron and Cleveland now, but I still kind of like that matchup. So it could be really either one of them, but I guess I'll just pick the Cavs right now just because I think LeBron can get it done in the postseason, but I got the Spurs over them in 4 or 5 games in the finals. So that kind of wraps up this week's show. It's the NBA preview. So that's all taken care of. When the season starts next week, right?
Tuesday.
Yep.
Tuesday, yeah.
Doubleheader.
Okay, so one question, since I'm not a big basketball fan.
Yeah.
What show, if I'm not ESPN, should I watch NBA Countdown or a replay show?
No.
Or do I need to go to NBA TV and watch
TNT inside the NBA.
TNT with Shaq and Chuck.
Just
and
watch them
Kenny.
for a half hour every other day?
They got an hour. They got an hour show on Tuesday before the game.
It's normally before and like after the
usually
games.
the
Like when
show
you have the
is
nightly
an hour.
TNTs, the Thursday night, the Thursday night games. Yeah, that's what.
Okay, so that and I'll listen to Stephen A. with basketball.
And shout out Stephen A. real quick, because Steve Nash just retired, and Skip Bayless stupid butt said that Steve Nash is better than Allen Iverson. Never in his life.
Stephen A. just retired?
No, Steve Nash just retired.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and Skip said that Steve
I
Nash
didn't know
is
he
better
just
than
retired.
Allen Iverson.
Whoa.
Well, he maybe didn't retire, but he quit or whatever. He got hurt.
He has
so
it, he's having surgery.
He
again.
might as well retire because he's too old. But never in his life has he been better than Allen Iverson. Don't ever say that again before I come find you.
All right, so that wraps it up. I'll have to look over my last-minute picks because apparently I made bad Eastern Conference choices that I made literally right now while you were all talking. So, yeah, maybe I'll touch on that next week. Or actually, we will not be here next week. At least I won't. So I think maybe our next show will be in 2 weeks, I think. 3 weeks.
It's a volleyball game.
All right, so 3 weeks from now, that's the next time C4 Sports will be on the air, it sounds like. So be sure to keep up with all of us on Twitter. As we leave, I am at LManMatt93.
I am at Darius Hawkins. I'm Darius Hawkins at _Hawk_13.
And I'm Ryan Mason, and I'm at Mason_IL Chief.
I'm Adam Feiner. You can find me on Twitter at NobodyFeiner. Please watch the World Series, people. Please.
All right, so for everybody here at C4 Sports, thank you for listening. You're listening to 88.3 The Dog.